So this is a problem where we need to multiply two binomials. And the way schools often teach this is by using the acronym FOIL. F stands for first, meaning we multiply the first term in each of the binomials. In other words, the two x's. Then we multiply the outer terms of the binomials, namely the x and the 7. Then we multiply the inner terms of the binomials, the 2 and the x. And then we multiply the last terms in each of the binomials, the 2 and the 7. And this is a fine way to remember how to multiply binomials once you know the reason that we're allowed to multiply them in the first place. But before we know that, we have to really have a better mathematical justification for why FOIL works. And so I think sometimes things like FOIL actually make it harder for us to understand what's going on. So for now, let's get rid of it. We can bring it back later if we actually need it. But let's replace it with the more mathematical distributive property used twice. So in the distributive property, it's when we multiply a sum of two or more numbers by another number. And so in order to use it twice, we say one of these binomials we're going to pretend is one number, and the other one we're going to use as a sum of two numbers. So at first, we're going to use x plus 2 as one number that we're multiplying x plus 7 by. So we have x plus 2 times x plus x plus 2 times 7. Then we're allowed to use the distributive property again. This time we distribute the x in the first product across the x plus 2. So we have x times x plus 2 times x. And again, in the second product there, x plus 2 times 7, we can distribute the 7 across x plus 2. And we're left with four different terms, which we can then simplify. X times x becomes x squared. We combine the like terms, and we have our answer. This leads to a more flexible understanding than FOIL, which is a kind of robotic mechanism. This explains how you could use this in a case where perhaps you're multiplying two trinomials together. Or maybe you're multiplying any length of a polynomial. It's basically you use the distributive property one or more times whenever you multiply polynomials. So it's a more flexible way of understanding what we're doing, and it shows the difference between a mnemonic device and actual mathematical justification. Never confuse why something works with how you're supposed to do it on a piece of paper. FOIL is just a device that allows you to remember how to do this. The actual justification lies in the distributive property.